Hello, everyone. Welcome to
That was
Tabletop Anthologies.
that was gorgeous.
It was. Thank you, Dionysus, for putting that together. I'm Severian, and I'll be your game master this evening as we play Troika. Continue our adventure here with three familiar faces playing the same characters from last time. Well, Forloth is playing his backup character, um, but it was created for the last adventure, I suppose. But anyways, we are playing Fronds of Benevolence. It's an official published scenario from Melsonian Arts Council, and it is actually written by Andrew Walters. We'll be putting his link in the chat at some point here soon to support him a little bit, so you can go out and look at some of his other art and things. He does some really great art for Troika, and they've actually provided that for this stream. So a lot of the art you see here, that's where it's from. Yeah, and without further ado, let's get started here. If there are any issues you see on the stream as far as audio or video, we appreciate you speaking up about that in the chat. Let's see where our adventurers are going now. We last played Troika in the city of Troika, actually, with Dionysus playing Dorzoka, Preacher playing Altair, and Forloth was playing Sissy. But
Hey, I think you put the
I mean,
emphasis on the wrong
that's
syllable.
what you named yourself. He was playing a Sissy.
But now he's a man.
Why don't you go ahead and say it so it sounds a little bit better?
A sissy.
That
There
Shut
you
up.
sounds
Yeah,
bad.
you've ruined it now.
Yeah, no. But anyways, Forloth is playing his other character, Tim, the necromancer, this time around. But in our last scenario, why is there no music playing? Can you guys hear the music? Do not.
I can hear it on Foundry. I can't hear it in the stream.
Yeah, that's odd. Oh, Foundry, why are you doing this to me? I had everything set up perfectly.
Desktop audio?
Technical difficulties. No, it's not even playing.
I
Give me
swear
one
this almost
second.
never happens.
Yeah, right. We are going to be right back in just a second. I am going to restart Foundry. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back. I think the music's playing, and we're all good.
That means we need to
Anyways.
join.
Here we go. Continuing our adventure from the last time at the hotel, the Blamage and Thistle. The suns rise on a new day at the Blamage and Thistle Hotel in the city of Troika as the Feast of the Kiliarch concludes. The dustmen materialize and begin picking up the burnt rockets and smashed cakes. The party finds their way back to their room on the 6th floor. The hallway is much quieter without the celebratory music that had played on the rooftop. In the room is a single round bed, not quite big enough for everyone to comfortably fit in, upon which sits a complimentary basket of colorful boiled eggs. How nice of them. The party stays at the hotel for about a week before being called upon by Znezdi Tartakov. If you remember from our last session, he calls on them for his expedition into the humpback sky. And you board a floating vehicle that Znezdi drives up to the hotel, and it bounces and glides through the city. After arriving at the Troikan Marina in this vehicle, the floater parks on Znezdi's golden barge, the Curious Puffin. This vessel sits motionless and massive in the teal-blue water of the marina. And my music just paused for some reason. But anyways, we'll continue. It doesn't matter.
Shall I narrate while you fix your music?
No, it's all right. I got it. Preparations are made quickly, and the party sets sail. The Puffin is very slow to start this massive vessel, but it's built speed constantly, consistently, and continuously. Hours pass on with no land in sight as the ship accelerates further, and just continues to accelerate until golden tessellated film unravels on the mast of the golden puffin at a push of a button by Znezdi. And the formerly white cloud-like sails shimmer brightly and lift the barge into the night sky. Tartakov's promise of extensive travel and spiritual nourishment was proven to be true. The party explores a number of worlds, learning new things and assisting Znezdi as he catalogs the biological variances among goblins throughout the spheres. After some time, the expedition comes to a close. The party comes to live in the Duchy of Plandra with their friend, ruler, patron, deity, we'll see what their relationship is, the Duke DeCorticus. And the Duke DeCorticus is a noble plant creature of indeterminate origin who has reigned so long that even he can no longer tell, he can no longer recall how or when he came to power, although he pointedly disdains the title of demigod. Whether or not he is considered dangerously teratogenic is a question waived by many inhabitants of Plandra in light of his excellent and benevolent rule. Your relationship with DeCorticus is fairly close, but it's up to each of you to determine yourselves exactly how and why that is the case. So we're going to go around to each player while I fix my audio. And we'll start with Preacher. Give us a little bit about Altair, basically anything you want to tell about his little expedition there on the Curious Puffin across the humpback sky, and maybe a little bit about what skill he might have picked up or improved along the way. And each of you also make sure to include your relationship with the Duke DeCorticus, because that's going to be kind of important. So, Preacher, you should go ahead and start off.
Yeah, so while we was traveling around, Altair, he didn't realize it at first, but the Duke DeCorticus is actually the guy who was he funded all of my adventures whenever I was part of the foster home. So once we got on this journey and I found out who he was, I was eager to help. I don't much care for people, but I sure do love Duke DeCorticus. While we were on our adventure, I managed to stumble across this older gentleman, Junebug type guy, and I told him I was fast, I was nimble, kind of an asshole, could fight real good, but I'm not real perceptive. So Odrald Stinknackle taught me to keep an eye out for some things, and So I think I'm a little bit more perceptive now. What do you think?
All right, and through that, you've raised your awareness skill a little bit. And before we move on, what about your relationship with the Duke? Did you mention that?
Yeah. He funded the the foster home that I was in, and
yes,
I'm eternally grateful for that. And as much as I have heard his name, I've never got the chance to meet him, so I can't wait to thank him in person for what he's done.
All right. So we'll go to, and just to mention, I can't remember if I did or not, Preacher is playing Altair, as I said, but his class is the Vengeful Child. So you can see that class artwork there in the background behind each of them and their class name under their character name. So next we'll go to Dionysus playing Dorzoka the Claviger.
And as I find myself and my character's voice, just bear with me. But on the nice sail barge, the Golden Puffin, Dorzoka actually worked with some of the staff on the ship to actually learn how to cast the spell of Second Sight, to which he learned at the hotel in Troika. And he enjoyed being able to see all the wonders while atop that roof, and along with the fireworks and everything else that was going on. It was something he didn't want to let go. So he learned that on his sailboat, on top of trying to get to know the fellowship that he now finds himself in. Working with the Duke DeCorticus, as he's been around since before the days of time and such. I don't really have too much of a solid relationship, him being the Duke and all, and I'm just some measly claviger who can open doors when asked. And that's really, that's how we know each other. There's been many a doors that the Duke has needed opened, actually to add to his collection of plethora of plant and flora and fauna, and getting access to those gates is what I helped him attain. And so that is the connection that I have with Duke.
All right, interesting. So next we'll go to Vorloth playing Tim, the Necromancer.
Well, my story is multifaceted, but I don't want to bore you with all the tedious details. I met these guys on the ship. We got along great. We're the best of friends. Hooray. When we arrived on this new planet, it became apparent the Duke didn't have a coroner. Every kingdom needs a coroner. So I became the coroner. Yeah, but the strange thing is, while working as the coroner for the Duke, I had to battle quite a few zombies in the crypts under the city, and as such, have developed a skill in tunnel fighting since we last met. Page 55.
Huh. Okay, nice. All right. So, now that we know our party here, our players and their characters, our adventure begins in the Duke DeCorticus' throne room. The ancient sea man's voice barely rising above a whisper as he speaks to you. His throne room is filled with all sorts of lush greenery, lots of plants, trees, and there's a glass roof. It's just very magnificent a spectacle as far as plant life goes. But the Duke himself...
Is it background, or is it actually parts of the Duke?
No one can really say for sure. So, you see the Duke himself sitting on his throne. The throne, of course, is made of plants. Why not? But the Duke himself doesn't look as vibrant as he usually does. There's evidence of some wilting starting on some of his otherwise rather vivid and colorful foliage that's always hanging off of him. And you can see there's a number of dried small leaves laying all around him as though it's some sort of vegetative dandruff. But he sees you all approach as you've been called to the throne room, and he says to you, You've been called here because I know I can trust you all. You've been on many journeys before. And I need your help now. You see, our supplies of rare earths, the star loam that sustains me, it's been cut off. A missive was sent to us from the wall where we get this rare earth, and with no explanation, they're no longer continuing the supply. And I need that to live, and though my life isn't all that important, I've lived a long and fulfilling life. I fear that if I die, you can all understand that the Duchy of Plandra is a lynchpin of all the other pirate domains and ruthless towns that dot the landscape around here. And I fear that Plandra itself will be ransacked and burned to the ground if I die. So I trust that you can find more of this rare earth that I need. At the wall, if necessary, down south. Although there is the legends and the rumors that have some substance to them that the great blue oak, east of the wall down south, also has rare earths. It's up to you to decide how you're going to get there. Through the golden barge flying in the sky, or the stilt lopers that go across the marshlands. And he kind of pauses at that moment. It looks like he's trying to catch his breath, or whatever a plant, trying to catch his breath might look like. But do you have any questions? Anything you'd speak up and say?
Grand Duke, please just get your breath back. We will take care of it. I promise you, we can get this done as soon. Can we get this man some water? Some water. Get this man some water.
Yeah,
Don't
are there
worry.
misters
We've got
staying
it.
around?
We will take care of it.
There was some guards standing nearby. They all have very ornate armor on. Looks more kind of form than function kind of armor. These are his royal guards, and a number of them carried large misters with water tanks on their back, and they're dousing him and trying to keep him sustained as long as they can.
What are the species? What is the species of his subjects?
Various species. A number of humans. Some of them look more plant-like. Some of them might be spawned from the Duke himself. But just like the Duchy of Plandra itself is very, I guess, multinational. I don't know if that's the right word. Multi-dimensional, rather.
Multispecial?
Yes, very much so.
It's a very weird way to say they're ferny. They're all ferny.
Mm-hmm. But he had mentioned
Bulbous.
the golden. He had mentioned traveling by either golden barge or stilt loper. You know that the only golden barge currently docked in the Duchy of Plandra, it actually is not in full operation like the golden puffin was. It is actually launched through the air, assisted by a slingshot, and can take up to 3 days to travel to its only docking station further south. The stilt loper that was mentioned. You know that it requires a dedicated pilot that no one else knows how to pilot, and it will go through the marshland, taking up to 6 days to get down to the southern part of this world. And the two locations that he had mentioned were either the wall, which is the primary source of this star loam, these rare earths as they're called, or you can seek out the mythical blue oak tree, the massive tree standing further east of the wall.
What is this wall other than the obvious?
The wall is a wall, of course. Let me give you a little description here. Yes, the wall is somewhere most Plandrans never visit. You've heard of the wall. It's unlikely you've been there yourself. But you know that it's a source of luxuries and oddity, laboring under a strange and oppressive teratogenic rulership. The wall is immense and soars above the nearby Badlands. It's teeming with activity, of the specks of humanity that live upon the surface of the wall.
What is it separating what from what?
No one really knows.
So it's more of a place in and of itself. It doesn't necessarily
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily serve a purpose as far as we know.
It might be separating us from the night walkers, my lord.
Maybe.
So, what this wall is it made of this soil that the Duke
No.
searches
It is-
out of?
It is
Instead of
harvested there and sent up north to the Duchy of Plandra.
So
The wall itself is made of stone and metal, various sort of structures like that.
and the receiving station for the slingshot ship is located on the wall.
It is not. It is located nearby. The Golden Barge will. It is the launch and landing station Indomitable, which is a little bit north of the wall.
And
About
so,
a day's travel or so north of the wall.
So would that be by foot?
Yes.
How far is it from the rare blue oak?
The wall?
No, like that
Uh,
slingshot. The where it can go to.
Oh,
Is it
like
the same
what I
port,
just said. It's
basically,
about a day's travel from the Indomitable launch pad, which is where you would be landing. About another day's trip south would take you to the wall. So all in all, you're looking at up to 4 days maximum, as long as nothing goes bad.
That wasn't ominous at all.
What a GM.
But what about the blue oak? I think
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I was asking.
Right.
So,
the
like,
blue,
if we took the slingshot to go to the blue oak, would we land in the same spot?
you cannot do that because the Golden Barge goes from the Duchy of Plandra to the Indomitable station and back. That's it.
And that's it.
It is.
And how
it
far
is-
How far is the blue
Go
oak
ahead.
from Indomitable receiving station?
So the blue oak, you know that if you want to travel towards the blue oak, you would have to likely take the stilt loper to get there, and it would be up to about 6 days or so to the I believe precipice, which is a mountainous region that you'd have to cross, and that can take another few days before you then reach the blue oak.
Okay, so that's nowhere in the area.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but it just seems to me that time is of the essence, and perhaps we should go to the Indomitable receiving station and then onto the wall. What do you guys think?
Before I add to
Thelonious, shut up! I don't care what you think. Sorry, you were saying.
go check the fertilizer level real quick, Tim. 1 second. The wall, since the Duke that's clearly where he used to get his soil before. What can he tell us about it, and what can we expect should we go to the wall? Like, what challenges would we face? Does he have advice for us on that?
That's a good question. So he would say, let me check something real quick. Don't give you incorrect information here. So the wall, he would say again, trying to rally his voice as he's kind of straining to talk. It looks like he's beginning to fade already and feel the effects not having his rare earths. And he says, the wall is filled with many people who labor hard. They provide for their rulers and send many exports off, some of those including the rare earths that I need. You'd be wise to not trust everyone at face value at the wall. Everyone's looking for their ways to rise to the top. And remember, at the wall, anything on the other side of it is forbidden. And to speak of it may bring danger to you.
forbidden by yourself, your worshipfulness?
Of course not. The overlords of the wall.
And do the overlords of the wall pay you tribute for your most magnificentness?
No, I have met a number of them in the past over my many eons of life. But they are many, and I do not rule them.
I see.
Have you any sort of trade alliance or alliance in general? Your golden leaves, sire?
Please. No, the pleasantries aren't necessary.
Take these knee pads off.
The pleasant trees aren't necessary?
Yeah. Nice. I forget what I was saying now. Anyway, what was your question again, real quick?
It was, do you have any sort of alliance or trade alliance with them?
Well, we were under an agreement that they would send these rare earths north to me. And as I said, without any further explanation, a missive was sent saying that the supply would immediately be stopped. And I don't understand why. The missive was anonymous.
So we might actually be walking into a thorny situation. Your lusciousness. I apologize for the flowery language.
Yes,
Do you think you're fucking funny, Necromancer? You think you're fucking funny, don't you?
No, I don't.
The Duke is dying here, and you're over here cracking fucking jokes.
Sorry, I was listening to Thelonious
The
again.
language on this young man.
Shut up, Thelonious. No one appreciates your humor.
Shut up,
time is of the
Necromancer.
essence right now.
It wasn't me.
And you must know that, yes, this could be a dangerous situation you're walking into. Mysteriously, around the same time that this supply was cut off, there's been rambling, but professionally printed pamphlets in dark green ink on lime green paper that have begun appearing all over Plandra. You may have seen them yourself. They've had such titles as Theoretical Injustices Assume Reality, a short treatise on the absurdity of botanical beings assuming rule over mankind. I don't know what it all means. But please, can I trust you all to try and find some supply of these rare earths before I fade away completely and the raiders come upon us?
Of course, my liege.
My lord, while we discuss the route that we take, could we perhaps call upon you for extra wares and gear to make our traveling a little less difficult?
Well, your travels, whichever means of travel you choose will be paid for, of course, and I can provide a small troop of Plandran bodyguards. And he like raises one of his flowery tendrilled hands and lets out like a mist of some sort of pollen that kind of goes into the air, and suddenly out of the foliage a number of Plandran bodyguards appear and line up behind you, ready to follow. Any one of you roll me a 1d3.
Go ahead, Forloth.
1d3. Do we have any room? No, d4.
Oh, you'll do a slash roll, 1d.
There you go.
Okay.
1.
Two bodyguards have lined up to follow you.
And what do they look like? What are their sizes?
They are a bit short in stature. They are wearing some of that armor that you had seen before that seems to be rather decorative. And you get the sense that these guards are probably used to more urban light adventures, those sort of things around the duchy, and probably haven't been out on an expedition like this as you guys have.
And they're plants.
They are. Yes, they are plant-like creatures of some sort, but plant-in bodyguards. Their armor, and they have a pistolet also on their side. They're grotesquely over-filigreed, obnoxious, and designed for ceremony rather than combat.
Well, they'll at least make us look official, I guess, if nothing else.
Yeah, sure.
Do we need any sort of special transport device for your soil in order to keep its potency?
No, it's any sort of vessel should be fine.
And how much do you require, my lord?
As much as you can provide. Perhaps if you can find why the supply was cut off and fix the issue, you won't need to do any further work, and the supply will be restored, regularly transported here to the Duchy of Plandra.
Next question, my lord. Should we have any sort of letters of introduction or of office, making it clear that we come as representatives of your esteemed self?
Of course. And he actually does another little flourish, and one of his bodyguards grabs a small box and steps forward, opening the lid of this small wooden box, and there's 3 badges inside that are they're kind of opalescent, shiny, and they've got a lot of like leaves and vines sort of in the metal patterning in these badges. You know, they are official Plandran badges, so they're very difficult to recreate in some of their intricacies, and they will basically tell anyone in this world that you are an official of the Duke.
I'm good. Gentlemen? Alatir, Berzoka?
Good.
I'm good. Should we adjourn and discuss which route we are going to take?
Yes, let's. Feel better, my lord. We shall return.
Please do.
Sweet.
And so now I need just one of you to roll a 4d6. No pressure, but this is a very important roll that you'll find out what it means later on.
So we'll put that on Altair. Yeah. Put it on the kid.
14. Okay, I'll make note of that. All right, so your adventure begins. It's kind of just up to you guys and where you want to go now. I will switch us over to our little point crawl map. Instead of a hex crawl, it's a point crawl, so there's kind of like points of interest that you will travel to. And I'll reveal those as you go different directions. So your 2 options here. If I can get this to work the way I want it to. There we go. Got that selected. And that's there you go. So you should be able to see your 2 options, the Stilt Loper or the Golden Barge here. And let me switch over our overlay so that our viewers can see this.
That's excellent.
And this is from the art from the book itself, and I just kind of threw it in here and put some walls around it or whatever in your tokens. But you can see Plandra there, and the great castle of the Duke. To your left, you've got the Golden Barge, which will travel to its destination in 1d3 days. The Stilt Loper will get there in 1d6 days.
Now, Fellowship. It sounds as if there might be a new ruler on the wall, or perhaps somebody that has taken over, in such that they are against plant-like beings. Or maybe they have a hatred towards them, or the fact that they can live for such long periods of life. So, there's that thought that we will run into the hatred once we reach the wall. Should we go to the rare blue oak, we might find something that is a little more relatable, given the Duke is of plant life himself.
Well, Thelonious thinks that if we go to the Blue Oak, we're facing the dangers of a longer journey, and time will be of the essence. Whereas if we go to the wall, we're dealing with possible hostile reception. However, the Duke did say it wasn't just a matter of restoring his life force. If we could also solve the issue with the wall, that would be a more lasting benefit. So it just seems to me that maybe the wall is the way we should go. I don't know. What do you think, Altair?
I agree with you. I think going to the wall is going to be the best thing we can do because I don't give a shit about any sort of fight or anything like that. I gotta save the Duke.
Then to the wall we go.
So, second question. Do we go in the stilt loper or do we go in the ship?
The stilt loper seems a little more agile, should we need it.
Takes longer.
Yeah. The barges, though, it's restricted from one spot to another spot.
I believe that although the barge might be the faster option, the stilt loper gives us enough time that we can formulate some sort of a plan, and also it's a little more discreet.
It also allows us to load it up and bring as much earth back as possible. Where if we go with the ship, we have to somehow get it that day's travel from the wall to the ship.
You know that, so a little bit more before you continue your planning and going the wrong direction. the stilt loper, will not go past the eye bleed precipice going south. So basically you can get there and then you'd have to continue on foot, whereas the golden barge would sail over all that and straight to the indomitable station.
So I've just been told this motherfucker right here won't take us any farther than the precipice. So I think we should take the barge.
And the eye bleed just does not sound like it's a fun thing to deal with.
Wait a second.
Basically, it comes down to
the work is on the precipice. I thought that precipice was in
just
the other
past
direction.
it. Yes, exactly. So if you take your two starting points, stilt loper and golden barge here. Basically think of it as you looking at the maps around Plandra and stuff right now. I imagine you guys are kind of, probably gathered around some maps trying to figure out what you want to do right now. And you would see that the stilt loper is probably the better option if you want to go to the blue oak. And the barge is the better option if you want to go to the wall. Though you can take the stilt loper elsewhere if you want to try. You just know that the pilots won't take it into the eye bleed precipice. It's too dangerous for the stilt lopers to walk through there.
So how far from from where the end point is for the stilt loper to the blue oak?
You know that it takes about 3 to 5 days to travel through the mountainous region of the eye bleed precipice to get to the blue oak.
Okay, so we'd be on foot for 3 to 5 days.
Yes.
The wall it is.
And the golden barge it is.
All right. Is there anything you would like to do in Plandra before you leave?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Can't think of anything.
So we will board the golden barge.
Do we need a golden ticket?
Yes. And it's paid for.
Oh, fabulous.
Feel like
right.
Wayne's World walking through with the backstage pass as we come up.
Pretty much. So you would approach the barge named Heaven's Frenzied Stare. And on it, you would meet the captain himself, Captain Swallock, who you would present your passes to, and he would see your badges being officials of the Duke. So everyone boards the barge. They get ready to take off. The problem is that you find that it is going to leave in... Sorry, give me 1 second. Looking for something that I just lost. All right. Okay. I need to do a roll real quick, and... Ooh, unfortunate.
Oof.
The Golden Barge isn't scheduled to leave for another 3 days.
Can we impress upon Captain Swallock the dire situation the Duke finds himself in, and that the expediency of our mission?
You can try.
Go ahead, Altair.
Well, the way I got it figured is if you don't get this fucking barge in the air in the next 45 minutes, I'm trimming your fucking hedges. You hear me?
So the captain...
Now, meanwhile, I'm like 15. Like, I'm like 4'8". Like, I'm a little bastard. I'm not no intimidating guy, but...
The captain just raises an eyebrow at you, and he has a very elaborate-looking uniform on, large plumes coming off the top of his hat, you know, as he stands on this golden, very ornate barge. Just kind of looks down at you, at his crew, and it's just like, is this kid really talking to me this way?
Kid? You must have caught me coming in cold from swimming. I ain't no fucking kid.
Roll.
He's
give
right.
me
He's
a-
a vengeful child.
Yeah, Dezoka, please, interject.
Captain, he's a vengeful child. Just actually give him a rag and some Rust-Oleum, and he'll work on the tarnish of your gold while we fly.
Yeah, I'll buff that shit right the fuck out.
You see, along with that language, it'll be pretty spotless by the time we get there. Now, Captain, you've worked with Duke DeCorticus for some time, haven't you?
Mm-hmm, sure.
I'm sure that's a yes. And I'm sure you have ferried quite a bit of supplies for him, have you not?
Yes, and we're waiting for a load of supplies to come in 3 days, and we'll be taking off then. Now, why does this need to be shipped off so urgent? Why would I... What would possibly compel me to launch this barge without that shipment I'm waiting on? It's going to be delivered late.
What is your shipment,
Can't do
Captain?
that.
If I can ask.
I have a whole manifest of various goods and things that I need to load up in the next few days.
Could you perhaps take us to the wall and come back prior to your shipment arriving?
Sure, yeah, that's so easy to do. I'll just launch this giant barge off whenever I want with this massive crew of people. You seem to know how it works. Here, you take the steering wheel.
I'll kind of walk over to the steering wheel. Hey, Artier, you know how to launch a slingshot?
Hell yeah.
Now,
No,
Captain,
I do.
see, the way I see it is we're on some official business for the Duke DeCorticus. This is
Show him your fucking badge.
I see the badges.
it's already out right in the front. Don't you worry. Now we're on official business for him, and its time is of the essence. And should you come through for us, you come through for him, and we can put in good words that you become the main courier, I should say, for the Duke. Should this you get off your ass and launch us?
So, whichever one of you wants to do a skill roll to try and convince him. If you've got a skill to do that, such as persuasion or something, you can use that. Otherwise, just your flat skill roll.
But it's not looking good for Altair, just so.
I don't have any special skill.
All right. Then just whoever wants to go ahead and actually, since all three of you have been talking and stuff, go ahead and each of you
I
can
haven't
do a
talked yet.
roll.
Yeah.
I haven't talked. I haven't spoken yet. I'm going to try this.
Okay.
Captain Swallock, just out of curiosity, what's your relationship with the Duke? Duke DeCorticus. Is it a good relationship? Are you guys friends? You get along?
I'd say it's a good relationship.
And how long have you known the Duke? Do you know him well?
Well enough. He's essentially my employer.
Has he known you for a long time? How old were you when you came into the Duke's service?
Much younger. Where's this going?
Do you consider yourself loyal to the Duke?
Of course. Are you questioning my loyalty?
I am not, sir. I am not. But I am saying that the Duke is unwell, and we are seeking to reverse that. Now, I see an opportunity here for you to improve your relationship with the Duke. He would certainly appreciate you being there for him in his time of dire need.
He starts pacing around on the deck a little bit, and after a few seconds of pacing and scratching at his chin, he turns finally and says, "All right. I think I can leave in a day, but I still can't leave today. I need to pack up a few more things, and if you could assist with that, we can leave tomorrow."
Absolutely. That's a perfect compromise. I thank you, Captain. I thank you. Whatever assistance we can lend.
Of course. So he doesn't hesitate at all, and he immediately calls over one of his officers, and they get you to work, moving crates back and forth from various warehouses and around the launch pad for the gold barge, loading up the belly of the barge, and a lot of it is food related. And you can see that there's a large group of kitchen staff and chefs and things that enter the barge and go down into the decks below. So a day passes, and the crew is all ready to launch. Is there anything you would have like an hour or two, free to yourselves before you actually launch? Is there anything else you'd like to do in Plandra with that time, or are you just going to kind of relax on the barge and wait?
I think I would stay on the barge and help assist as much as I can, and then learn about the barge itself, ins and outs of its workings, and where all those doors on this barge might lead.
Okay, all right. So after exploring the barge a little bit, you find that you have to explore it very cautiously, because in the deep bowels of it is very maze-like and archaic. There's parts of it that may not have been touched by humans for many years. The actual technology that pilots and runs the ship isn't all completely understood, and it used to be flown by thinking machines that no longer function. That's why it has to be assisted with a slingshot to be launched and can only travel back and forth between these two launch pads, because no one knows how it really works or how to fix the main drives completely. And you also know that there is a rather extravagant 17-course meal that you'll get served on the trip.
As I'm doing my splunking, and I see the old ancient devices that I kind of come across and realize I don't know what I'm looking at in terms of its functionality and anything, but maybe perhaps I could either rub on this surface vigorously to make it translucent, to see it on the inside, to see if maybe it's just a sprocket that's broke. Or perhaps I could use my second sight to see if there's a magic that is being blocked or that has run out of juice itself.
Go ahead and give me a skill check for that. And if you want to use your second sight, you can. Second sight is mostly just for finding magic being used, basically. But you might be able to glean some information from it.
Well, I do have a see-through spell that I can cast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that. Is there?
That's why I
so
said
you want to like look at the engine components and stuff?
Yeah, if I rub a surface vigorously, it makes it translucent, penetrating up to 12 inches of material, including immunity on lead and silver. Or sorry, not including lead and silver.
Yeah, right. Lead and silver you cannot see through with that spell. So you can cast that spell. Do you know the rules for casting a spell, or would you like me to walk through that?
If you could refresh me in the crowd, please.
Okay. All right. So spells have a cost to them. In this case, see-through, and I have it up on the screen. Hopefully that's big enough that our viewers can see that. But your see-through spell costs 1, so you would spend 1 stamina, and then you would roll to cast that spell. Let me just open up the rule book right here, and I will.
Oh, are we back at full stamina now that it's been a week?
Yeah, I just fixed my.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was about to say,
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, spend that 1 stamina, and then you would roll to cast it.
Am I gonna be rolling under or over?
Right, roll under your skill total and the spell you wish to cast.
Okay, so I can just click on this spell, right?
Yeah, I think it is set up in the system that you can do that. Let's try it and see what happens. I don't know if it reduces your stamina or not, but nice.
I reduced my stamina.
All right, so your skill total with see-through is 6, right? Yep, 6. So
yes.
You rolled a 6. That is successful. And just a note, when you cast spells, a double 1 will always succeed and a double 6 will always fail and require a roll on the oops table, which you don't want to happen. But you cast your spell. As you said, you kind of begin rubbing meticulously on the surfaces of various engine components and things. There's probably some workers around you walking around that are like eyeballing you, wondering what the hell you're doing. But the surface starts to become translucent. You notice there are some silver components here and there that you're unable to really see through. But from what you can tell, the engines and everything that you see in here are far beyond your current comprehension. And what you can comprehend, it looks like it would take possibly a matter of years to fix, and it requires a lot of rare resources and a lot of labor. But you do notice that it seems to be a lot of some sort of damage, as though something's been sabotaged in here. And one of the workers nearby notices you looking at this particular old damage, and he stops and says, "Oh, you're looking at that damage there? That's from one of those void beast attacks. Yeah, they're always such a pain."
Oh, you were here for the attack.
One of them, yeah. Those things are nasty. That's really the only thing that can take down a golden barge out there.
And that's
we haven't seen
that's what
one
destroyed your engine, huh?
Well, that's what did some of the damage. Time did the rest.
You been on the ship long?
A few seasons. Only seen one void beast so far. We were able to shoo it off pretty quickly. It didn't do too much damage, but they're always out there.
He extends his hand. Name's Dorzoka.
Nice to meet you, Dorzoka. My name is... Give me 1 second while I roll his name.
I've got it written right down here on the inside of my shirt, on the back collar.
Can you check the tag, please?
Name's Feldrick. I saw you helping out, loading supplies and such. It's good to have someone on the journey that's going to offer a little assistance while they're here.
Well, we can pull our weight as long as it means we get to go where we can as fast as we can.
Of course. Well, it was great talking to you, and I'll see you around. I've got some duties to attend to.
Good meeting you, Feldrick. Kind of head back up towards the top.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to do before launch time? Nope. Okay. Then it is launch time. The
Love launch time.
The giant slingshot is primed. The engines, or what remains of the engines on the barge, begin firing up.
Just in time, Altier.
And-
You almost missed the ship.
Yeah, and the countdown commences. Once the countdown reaches 0, the slingshot activates and shoots the golden barge into the sky. The engines really kick on full force and begin propelling you into outer space on the bare deck of the golden barge. Go through the clouds and into space, where of course everyone can breathe just fine. You know, it's
Did
how it
everybody
works
remember
here.
to take your protein pills and put your helmets on?
Yes.
Good. Good.
So you begin soaring across the humpback sky and in the golden barge. Get some exploration music going. Wow. All right. So you're on your journey. What is there anything you'd like to do in particular as you're on your journey across the sky here? There's some other people on the ship. Some events will begin happening, but if there's anything in particular you want to do, go ahead and let me know now.
Mingle amongst the crowd and ask Thelonious to keep his eyes open. Anything suspicious or interesting or of note.
All right. Some people that you notice here, there's 5 foppish geriatric couples on a fussy clucking group anniversary trip. There's a man that you find is a thinking engine specialist, and also a tatty noble who uses the journey as an opportunity to stargaze. You notice him kind of walking around just observing. And anytime you've noticed someone walking up to him to try and talk, he just like shushes them away.
Thinking engine specialist.
Yes.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the journey continues on with no issue as you fly across the sky. At one point, you are called in down below decks to a very extravagant dining hall where they begin serving that 17-course meal I had mentioned.
Do we get to eat at the captain's table? Being the important dignitaries that we are?
You do. You get to eat near the captain there. And it's all sorts of food. It reminds you all of the Feast of the Kiliarch back in the Blancmange and Thistle, except even more extravagant than that. There's every type of food that you can think of, and just as you finish one thing, another meal comes out, and it's just a lot of people all socializing, and it's a wonderful time.
What was the name of this engine gentleman?
His name, you find out that his name is Eddie.
Eddie the engine man.
Yeah.
How's Eddie sitting at the captain's table?
He's not. He's sitting, doesn't seem to be socializing too much, and just sitting further down at another table, keeping to himself and enjoying his meals. But as the feast continues on, the captain speaks up and gets everyone's attention, slams on the table, stands up, and says, "As some of you may know, tradition outlines that attendance to this feast is mandatory, and I see you are all here, and each guest must present a short speech on a topic of your choice to everyone assembled here." And he says that as he stands in front of opulent red glittering curtains that festoon the large ovoid dining hall with tapestries all around. And he looks at you three first, being closest to him. Do any of you speak up and begin a short speech on any topic you like?
Certainly. I just happen to be an expert in mortuary science, and I'd like to outline some of the more important techniques tools of the trade, chemicals, importance of proper body preservation, and how it plays into various religious rites and beliefs as far as where the spirit goes, if there is a spirit when it leaves the body, and the importance of the body that's left behind. Is it an empty husk? Is it a remnant? Is it the individual at all? Or is it now just a shell? And in that vein, for a good 5 minutes, if that's acceptable,
Yeah.
GM, and
It is.
finish with thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Swell dinner talk.
And you can see that there's many people that are very fascinated by what you're saying, and a number of people have just kind of stopped eating and have their mouths agape and just cringing at the things that you're talking about.
So you see,
Who's
when the
next?
body has been decayed for 2 weeks long, it tends to bubble up.
And I make a short, shallow bow and then sit down and continue eating my meal.
All right.
I stand up next and I say, that one's going to be tough to beat. But then I go into a conversation, basically about the metaphysical and the metaphorical barriers of the world and the universe and its entryways within. And I speak of different demon gates I have found in my past.
Interesting. All right. You definitely keep people captivated, and not as many grossed out faces as with Tim's speech. What about you, Altair? Any speech to give?
You see Altair stand up on a chair, grab it like an apple, take a big bite out of it and go, you see, they say most gentlemanly scholars and theologians of the like would like to say things along the lines of, most people use really extravagant words to talk for 5 minutes, but they mean utter bullshit. None of it means a thing. They just stand up here and they pop off these words, and like I'm sitting here polishing this apple like on my coat, and all they do is puff on pipes and say, quite, yes, and they speak for 5 minutes about absolutely nothing.
Well, I
But
wouldn't call
we can rant and
science
rave.
was nothing. I mean,
What is science? Nothing. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And then, like, I look around and kind of chuckle to myself a little bit and sit back down, making fun of their little exposition.
The captain just kind of looks at you, and at first it looks like he's confused and then offended. Then he sits up for a second, and he just lets out like just this roarous laughter. He loved it, and the speeches continue on. Various. Some of them might be a little bit comedic. Some of them are a little more dramatic. Some of them have more science-related things, like Tim had said. But we get through all the speeches and all the 17 courses with no issues so far.
what about the
I need you all.
expert? Does he add anything, or does it not?
He does. No, it includes everyone. He gives a little bit of information, a little bit of a speech about thinking engines, and some of the vaguer things that he knows about them. And everyone, including your characters, would know that thinking engines are very rare now. Most people don't really understand how they function, and even an expert on thinking machines, a lot of it is just theory. So he kind of explains all of that in a sense. But I need you each to give me an awareness check. So that would be roll under. Nice.
I'm still looking
All
for
right,
it.
Altair pass. If you don't
click
have
on
awareness,
skill.
just skill. Yep. If you don't have a skill, it's just you roll skill.
All that time with all drilled stink knackle.
Helped you out, yeah.
Nope.
All
The
right.
kid wasn't peeling glue off his hand. He noticed something.
Okay.
See, this is what happens when you go on about bullshit exposition instead of looking at the room.
So Altair, being a vengeful child, maybe you're not partaking in
The spirit of
wine-
the event.
Yeah,
You little
wines
brat.
and that sort of thing. So you're a little more aware as you swear there was some sort of deep, dark shadows you see flitting behind and between the various tapestries and curtains hanging all around the room.
Hey, Zoka. Tim, Zoka.
Kind of lean over.
Now, I might be losing my mind here, but are there shadows behind those tapestries? Or am I seeing stuff?
I don't know, young Warlock, why don't you go and find out for us?
Okay.
We'll watch from here.
Hey, okay. Okay.
More wine.
I would sneak off and I would go investigate.
All right. Go ahead and roll a search check.
I don't have one of those, so just roll under on skill.
Just skill. Yep.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So this happens around the time the last course has already been served. People are starting to kind of funnel out of the room. Many of them are waddling out of the room because they've got so much food in them and so much drink. But you can't find anything. You know you saw something move back here. But there's nothing there. Nothing you've found.
Yeah, so what do you see?
There's nothing. Dude, I could have swore I saw something back here.
Tim slipped something in his drink. I mean, I know he's only allowed to drink apple juice, but you didn't put any extra wine in it, did you?
It wasn't me, Dersoka. Maybe the kid saw something.
I walk over there and try to entertain him, but now more curious, really, than anything. What was it that you saw?
I don't know, man. It just, like, we were sitting here and we were having a good time and I was eating my stew. And it just looked as if there was something moving behind all these tapestries. I'm trying to be discreet here, but I'm about to start yanking them off the fucking wall. You know what I mean?
Give
Got
me
me
another.
wigged out.
Give me another one of those skill checks, but do a roll over this time. Okay.
Can I
I
ask?
could have swore I saw some. I could have swore there was something here, and I haven't even been drinking.
Can I ask Thelonious? Game Master.
Do what now?
Can I ask Thelonious my spirit, my codependent
yeah.
spirit?
Yeah, you can talk to him whenever you want.
Well, I ask him to Thelonious. What's the kid talking about? Do you see anything? You see anything in the supernatural realm?
Do you want me to voice your
Yes,
codependent
please.
ghost? Okay.
Yes, please.
What kind of voice should I try and do for him?
I don't know. Does he sound like Filer?
Well, we have a
Oh,
codependent
God.
relationship. I'm thinking he's a bit of an asshole, peevish.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you look up
Something
to
along those
him and
lines.
because he's just like floating around up near the ceiling, just hanging out up there. What is it now, Tim?
Thelonious, the kid says he
Yeah.
saw something. Is there something in the room? Do you sense
What do you
any
mean
auras?
there's something in the
Is there
room?
something? Stop being such a little bitch. Is there something in the room? Do you sense something in the? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably talking about those guys over there. They're behind that curtain right there, and he points to one of the curtains that is kind of near where Altair is.
What are they?
I don't know. Go take a look. Some weird looking guys.
You so suck. I get up. And that was perfect, by the way. I
Thanks.
go over to Altier and I said, "That tapestry. There's something behind that tapestry." And I put my hand on my knife.
Zoka, why did we bring this guy along? He's over there fucking talking to him. Oh,
You
Tim,
go-
Tim, Yeah, what'd you say? We thought it was right here, but we're just trying to be discreet, you know what I
Check
mean?
behind the tapestry.
Okay.
I'll go left, you go right.
Understand.
1,
Two,
2, 3.
three. Go.
All right. You lift the tapestry, and there is a single, rather thin-looking individual wearing a black leotard, completely covering their whole body, and a golden, shimmering, expressionless mask on their face. And they look very startled, like they were not expecting you to do that.
How tall are they?
I don't have an exact height. I don't.
This
know.
guy's
We'll say like
destined to not be the shortest one in the room.
5'7". I don't know.
5'7".
Yeah.
Okay. So like, immediately on sight, I punch it eye level. So like, it's just kind of like hit him in the stomach, like just an unarmed. Like I've got, my sword kind of like I'm holding onto my sword like this, and I'm just like, huh, just like punch him in the gut like by accident.
As soon as you were about to make a move, there's a quick flourish motion from this individual, and there's a pop as smoke engulfs the area he was standing in. It wisps away, and he's gone.
I'd like to use my second sight to see if I can see where he might have went.
All right. Go ahead and
You
roll,
saw that, right?
roll under
You
for
saw
that
that.
skill. What is the X for?
I don't know. Because it didn't pass, I assume. Because on the
Oh
pass
yeah, they
is-
do.
you
Okay,
get the
they all
check
have the
mark.
X on it. Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're unable to figure out exactly where he went using second sight. You're
So
not
I'm-
really picking up on anything.
I'm squinting and through the smoke and the other tapestries kind of flapping in the wind, and I can't see where he went at all.
But you did see that, right? You saw that? I'm
I
not
saw
crazy.
that. I saw you miss your chance to grab a hold of it too.
Did you see? I tried my best. He scared me. Freaked me the hell out.
Now, young man, I'm gonna need you to tighten up them nerves a little bit. This is only the beginning of the journey.
And as he says that, I like actually take my sword off my back and drop it, and it hits him on the toe.
Clumsy. You're so clumsy.
You sound an awful lot like a kid. You're sounding like a kid right now. Wrap that up. Let's go. We got shit to do.
I make my way over to the captain, and I whisper in his ear, if I, presuming I can get to him, and say, Captain, I don't wish to alarm you, but there seems to be black-clad mystical beings, perhaps with villainous intentions, aboard your ship in this very room.
In this room. And he looks around as the many guests are, most of them are gone now. There's a few that are still kind of loitering here and there. The captain himself is nearly asleep in his chair at the head of the table when you're telling him this. And he's visibly drunk. Why? Mystical creatures, but
We a small
What do you mean?
gentleman, small beings, average sized beings, in black with smoke bombs
And golden masks.
and golden masks,
saboteurs?
possibly. I turn to Tilted Shrug and I said, Tilted Shrug, keep your eyes open. And to the two Plandra guards or whatever, our escort, I presume they're still with us. I advise
Yes.
the same, and try to form a bit of a perimeter in the area around the captain, and look in all directions. Gentlemen, out of chair, Darzoka, join our circle of defensiveness. I'm still working on the name. Sounded better in my head.
You
And,
sounded fucking stupid.
He wants us to join his COD.
and
I ain't joining no circle with 6 dudes in a plant.
out here, damn it! And look for these the potential assassins, the Yakuza.
And I would sheath my sword again and actually pull out my knife and just kind of keep it like tucked up into my sleeve, and I would be looking around.
So the captain just gets up from his chair, pushes back hastily and kind of starts to stumble over, rights himself, kind of gets a little bit of his, dignity back, trying to sober up instantly the best that he can. Right. All right. Here, I can do this. And he walks over to a panel nearby, presses a button, and all of the tapestries and curtains and everything reel up into the ceiling somewhere, and you see the bare gold and silver ornate walls of the dining hall. You don't see any other of these, any more of these figures. Not in this room.
What did the mask itself look like? Did we get a decent look at it before it disappeared out of existence, or did we just see it was just gold?
Expressionless, just flat gold, like a mirror finish on it.
Okay, so nothing like ornate or anything.
No.
Like worthwhile,
very
just
plain.
a flat. Gotcha.
And it's nothing we recognize or we would have come across in our journeys or heard about.
No.
So I immediately want to try to find some sort of some kind of a writing utensil or something, and maybe a napkin or something, and I want to try to sketch out what I saw, what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. And the captain, you can see, is starting to walk around his crew, and it looks like he's kind of raising the alert that there could be some hostiles on board. But he returns to you all and says, all right, we can't just stay in here forever. I'm returning to my quarters for the night. I suggest you do the same. The guards are on alert. Use one of the wall panels, one of the speaker boxes there. Should be in just about every room, and there's one in every hallway to contact me or the guards should you need us.
Very good, Captain. Very good. Sleep well. Stay vigilant.
And Captain, before you leave,
the
could we get another bottle of that vintage?
Help yourself. And he points to a bar cart nearby, actually a number of bar carts nearby that are just loaded with many bottles of various beverages.
Troika nods.
All right. So what do you all do? You have your own private quarters. It looks like under the captain's estimate of the way that the sails are catching the sunlight, the solar sails that is, that the trip is going to take, let me check, what did I roll for that? I believe I rolled a 2. It will take 2 days, and we're at the end of the first day here. First day of sailing.
I would like to go make myself, just go speak to Eddie, the engine specialist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're able to look up where his room is, if you want to see if he's in there.
Yeah, I'll give it a knock.
Okay. We will come back to that in just a second. What's everyone else going to do?
So I would have obviously drawn that figure that we saw probably 2 or 3 more times. Kind of really got it ingrained in my brain, and
Okay.
I would be just kind of wandering around the top deck, just kind of looking around and seeing where we are. Not really talking to anybody or just kind of being out by myself, just kind of peering around and looking at the landscape of where we are, trying to take note of various things, plants such as things like that.
Okay. And what about Tim?
Tim approaches all the members of our party and various members of the crew and of the passengers, and just keeps saying, "Remain vigilant. Keep an eye open." And does that for I don't know, a good hour before going back to his room and locking the door, and then getting in his mattress and pulling his knees up and clutching them against his chest, just staring at the door.
All right. So Dorzoka, at the door of Eddie's room, the thinking machine specialist, you knock on the door, and you hear the audio device on the door click on, and someone on the other side say, "Can I help you?"
Is this Eddie? This Eddie?
Yes, and this is.
Eddie. This is Dorzoka. We briefly met at the dinner.
Yes, the claviger. I remember your speech.
Yes. So, Eddie, do you have any experience on engines such as this ship that it runs on? And I kind of go into description as to what I saw, not so much what I thought might be wrong or anything like that, but more just the type of engines I saw and what Feldrick described.
So he opens the door and invites you in so that you can have a little more discussion. If you step inside.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yes, I've been a passenger on this ship a number of times. It's a very fascinating ship. I've never had the opportunity to ride a fully functioning golden barge, but I've studied the engines on this ship extensively. Is there something in particular you'd like to know about it?
I don't know much about it myself. Just kind of offering a hand as a time killer here. I have some abilities that allow me to see through and look at things and barriers almost. And I saw some things that maybe might help guide you to help the captain. And I go in to describe the damage that I saw to this engine and the pieces that almost looked like it had been sabotaged in a way.
Interesting. That's very good to know. I don't expect, unless we find many rare resources and rare technologies, I don't expect we'll have this ship fully repaired anytime soon. You see, we need many things. A memory core. We need a quantum spanner, a time net. I could go on and on. The list is exhaustive.
That is quite a bit. Okay, well, I thought I'd take a shot in the dark and see what you knew. It was a pleasant conversation to have with you.
Yes, of course. I must be off to bed. There's much to do on the morrow.
Indeed. You have a good rest, Eddie. And as I'm leaving, I do take a slow note to look around the room for any black leotards or golden masks.
Give me an awareness check. That would be a roll under.
Awareness check, roll under. All right. Just making sure I don't have anything in here that's going to assist me. Okay.
All right. So you're leaving his room. You thoroughly get a good look around as you're leaving. There's not a whole lot in here. It's you can see the suitcase and those sort of things as personal belongings. All these rooms are pretty standard and almost the same, and you just see the typical furnishings that are in your own room. But you're leaving his room, heading down into the hallway. Altair, where are you currently? I know, Tim, you said you're in your own room. They gave you each your own room, but they are connected. They have connected doorways because they know you're kind of working together and traveling together.
Yeah, Altair would have just been out on the deck, kind of roaming around. Actually, I mean, he would have been roaming around, I guess, the ship in its entirety. I mean, I guess for the most part, just kind of, I guess, looking out for things that might have, that might seem like the black leotard or the golden mask, things like that. Like he would have that kind of on the forefront of his mind, so it probably would be out of the realm of possibility that I would have went hunting for that at some point in time.
Okay. So you're just kind of wandering out, exploring the hallways?
Yeah, being like a kid that kind of essentially grew up without parents or like on the street kind of deal. Like he just kind of has that street kid kind of, snooping around and pickpocket thievery type stealthy, just looking around and seeing if he can find stuff nooked and crannied and all that.
All right. So, Dorzoka, are you heading back to your own room?
No, I'm just wandering about the ship again, but eventually I will. Yes, yes.
Okay. And in your wanderings, you do run into Altair. You both happen to wander into the hallway that your rooms are in. And as you do, give me an awareness check.
What's happening, hot stuff?
Nice.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
rolls. You both see in the shadows of the door in front of Tim's room, there are 3 of those figures in black leotards. It looks like they're trying to quietly get the door opened.
And I kind as soon as I notice that, I kind of look to my right and I see Altair, and I'm not trying to speak for you, Altair.
Oh, absolutely do.
I just see that you realize what I realize, and I kind of grab me by the shoulder and I turn like towards the edge of the sail barge to look out, and I say, okay, so I know you saw what I saw.
Yeah.
And
Saw
I'm
that.
kind of pointing at the stars to play the game up a little bit. And so this time, instead of punching them in the gut, we're gonna try and trap them together. At least one of them.
All right.
Okay.
What's
And
your
that-
plan, boss? What's your plan?
I don't know. And do I see anything around us that's attached to the ship that might be part of it? Like, extra rigging laying about, some space buoys, things like that.
Sure. To what goal are you trying to accomplish with it?
I'm gonna try and trap one. So I
Oh,
don't
I
know
see.
if that means.
Yeah. We'll say there's some sort of synthetic rope laying nearby that you're able to grab. Actually, no. Let's use a mechanic we haven't used yet. We've been neglecting. Luck check.
Okay. So go ahead and click luck.
Yes.
Under.
Yes. There you go. You've got some rope.
Nice.
I've got lucky. So I kind of point down. So now Altair, see what they used to do back in the days with these space whales. They would take this synthetic rope here, same kind of rigging that you would see on the ship, and they would use that to snare what they're trying to catch. You get what I'm saying?
And as he says that, I'm already climbing halfway up, rigging up the very same thing that he's already talking about. Like he looks down to me, and I'm already halfway up, trying to climb and rig this thing up with the rope.
So do we notice, like, as we're trying to play it cool, do we notice if they look at us or see us? Are they pretty intent on getting into this room?
Yeah, they're just trying to get into this room. They're not really paying attention to you. Tim, give me an awareness check. There it is. Oh, give me a roll under check.
Ah, crap. Sorry.
No problem.
Yes.
Here you go. You don't notice it at first, but you hear some sort of clicking noises. And then, after hearing it for another second, you notice that it's coming from the door. And there's some light shadows that are coming under through the cracks underneath the door.
Thelonious, do you hear that? I whisper. Thelonious,
Oh, yeah, I was asleep. What?
do you hear that? Something on the other side of the door.
Yeah, I think I hear something. Let me go check that out. So you see him float over to the door. His head disappears behind it. Yeah, there's 3 of those guys out there.
This fucking guy.
Right. I get to the side of the door, pull out my knife. I turn off all the lights. Kill all the lights, whatever lights those might be.
All right. And Tilted Shrug is actually in the room with you.
Excellent. Tilted
yeah.
Shrug. Other
So
side of the door.
he's lined up and ready. He's braced with his lance, ready to gore anyone that attacks.
Even better.
All right. So you are prepped on the inside of the room. for anyone that breaks in, and let's go back out to Dorsoka and Altair. What are you doing?
To help him spring this trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and tie up all 3 of these guys, basically?
I think for the sake of it, we're just trying to catch one of them, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like if we can catch all 3, cool. But if we get one, it's a win.
All right.
At least
Tell
that's
me
what I'm
how
trying.
you're
I
gonna.
don't know about Dorsoka.
Tell me how you're gonna go about doing this, and then there's probably gonna be a roll involved, and we'll see what the outcome is.
So I kind of want to fashion almost like a spring trap, or not really a spring trap as much as like we'll have like a kind of like your typical foot trap where like if they walk within so many feet of it, like one of us, like I'll climb up and kind of make like an apex, like a downward angle, and lay it there. That way, if they walk by it, we can like just pull the rope real hard and it cinches the knot essentially and raises them up by their feet like a classic trap.
And I would help him and point to the opposite. So I assume we're like the hallway, and there's only one way in and one way out, right?
Yeah, basically.
So I would kind of direct it, Altair, to place that trap on the opposite direction. So like I head towards them, and should they see me and try to run, his trap is set up to snare.
If he walks through the rope, it gives me slack, but if they run toward the rope, it brings it taut and we can pull it.
Okay. I think I understand. All right. All right. We'll say you're able to get that trap set up. It's fairly simple. It sounds like you know what you're talking about and want to do there. So go ahead and start it off. How are you going to do it? So Dorsoka, you're going to kind of.
Yeah, and
I
kind of glance up like I'm still looking at the stars, and I kind of nod towards Altair like, get ready.
Yeah.
So I'm just meandering along the side of the thing, and I glance to the left, and I'm closer now, and I say, I just shout. I shout, there, now, there they are. And I hope it's loud enough to where if Tim is asleep, it's gonna wake him up, and Tilted Shrug and his altered ego or whatever that is, Tim, that you have, whatever's in that head of yours is going on. It wakes all of that up and maybe brings the attention, and it's also to get their attention to look towards me.
Okay. And you get their attention for sure. They all look towards you. Their golden masks all quickly turn that direction, staring right at you blankly with that shimmering gold mask. And they produce in each of their hands a silvery shining disc that looks very sharp on the edges. And they get into stances that you probably consider fighting stances as we enter combat.
I was gonna say, when I see that, I also return the stance as I pull out my distinguished sledgehammer.
Nice.
All right.
Do we hear this on the other side of the door?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
So can we enter this combat? Can I rush over, throw the door open?
Yes, we are entering combat now. I am setting up the table. I will. You're already on the scene there. So I set up a nice. So that if you ever need macros for Foundry made, go to the Foundry Discord server and ask for help there, because they were so helpful in getting me this macro set up that just instantly I click a button and it'll set up this rollable table for me to do initiative. Yeah, and you just select all the tokens and it grabs the value, and it's great.
Oh, that's nice.
So
That's nice of them to do for you.
You got a macro for giving me tokens for a scene?
Can you not see the scene?
No, everything's black for me.
Me too.
It just says I don't have a token for the scene.
That doesn't make
Drag our
sense.
characters
There's a
over.
token right there.
Yeah, no, I mean I can see the token for sure. Like
Do we have permission
I probably
on
just
that
don't
token?
have vision. I don't know.
It's either vision
you know
or
what?
permission on the token.
Same here.
Just need new tokens drug out. That's all it is. I changed the
probably.
vision after dragging those out earlier, so you
There
should
it
be good
is.
now. Does that
Yeah,
work?
yeah,
All
I'm
right,
good.
cool.
I'm good.
All right, let's switch over to the map scene on our stream here.
Yeah, look at Tilted Shrug. I love it.
Yeah.
What about
All right, so
what about the Plant Boys?
oh yeah,
around?
thank you
They
for
don't need to be.
reminding me.
They
They are.
Okay.
They are working as your henchmen basically, so they will definitely be there to help out. Bodyguards there. All right. And as we do this more, we'll get quicker with it. Select you all, add you to the rollable table. And here we go. Should be all set up. We got the end of round token. All right. Roll. Who's first?
Well, I would basically try to be somewhat last in. I don't know that Tim is there, so I'm just kind of setting up ready. So if that means I'm first or second.
Yeah, I would say for the sake of this, I'm kind of holding any action until they get within trapping range, essentially. So
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that when it's your turn, and we'll see how that works out. So the
10-4.
first one of them takes one of those discs and launches it down the hallway at you, Dorsoka. So that would mean it's a ranged attack, and you get to use some sort of, if you got like a dodge or shield skill or something of those sorts, against this guy's ranged attack.
Don't have any special skill to dodge other than use my distinguished sledgehammer as a bit of a shield, I guess, if you will, in front of me. It is a large sledgehammer, and like I said, it is
So
distinguished.
you just roll just flat skill with that then.
Okay. And that's going to be
roll
versus, right? Over?
Yep,
versus.
roll over. Contested rolls. All right. This silver disc goes spinning down the hallway and slams right into you. Of course, you have armor on. Oh yeah, you have armor on.
I do.
So
2 armor.
I will actually re-roll that then, because... Oh wait, no, it modifies the damage roll. Disregard that. The disc hits you. You have armor. I'm rolling damage. That modifies the roll by... You have 2 armor on, I believe?
2.
2. Alright, modifies it by 2. And that will be 4 damage to you.
Okay. So that disc, I see it coming, but there's not much I can do by the time I see it coming, Not only am I focused on the 3 masked beings in front of me, but I also kind of still have an eye up there at Altier, make sure he is set up. So I miss, and that disc does take a good chunk out of my armor.
And it's your turn, Dorsoka.
So as soon as I take that hit, I kind of bounce back, and I bring my maul up, and I kind of feint coming over, but when I feint coming over, I bring it down under. So we going golfing here on this barge.
All right.
So, do I get to roll my maul fighting? Is that what
Right. Yes.
Okay. Come at me.
All right. And so this enemy is then going to roll his opposing skill, fighting with one of those discs just in his hand. It's a melee weapon. All right. He steps around your heavy swing from that maul and slashes you with that disc, doing 4 more points of damage.
And I cry out as my maul misses it, my sledgehammer. Right now, it's not looking so distinguished.
And that 1 stamina you spent earlier on that spell, you regain that back by this time. Forgot to mention
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
And
Be a
who's
9 then.
next? Another one of these guys. That same one is going to take another swing at you, Dorsoka. So
Okay.
you can go ahead and do your rollover with your attack.
Is it still the skill, or would I actually get to use my my maul fighting attack?
Yeah, you use your maul fighting skill before you do the damage part on the attacks.
Okay. Sorry. So I rolled bad the first round, so he's fine. Oh, shit.
All right. They actually, I don't know if enemies in this roll criticals, basically, which are called mighty blows in this. So a mighty blow is when you roll 2 6s on an attack, which that guy just did against you. It inflicts double damage.
Rude.
If both parties strike a mighty blow, a spectacular clinch is formed, shattering both weapons. Interesting. So his damage is going to be doubled because of the sensitive spot maybe he found between your some spots in your armor. Let's see what that is. 8 points of damage.
Ouch.
Okay. Takes me down to 1.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's the end of the round. Refresh all of the tokens. And sometimes there are certain skills and spells and things that refresh and such at the end of the round. So let's see who's up next at the start of this new round.
Have we jerked the door open by this point?
It hasn't been your turn yet.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
the door is open now because another one of these guys, not the one fighting Dorzoka currently, another one actually gets the lock open and pushes in the door, and he's like just standing in the doorway now.
Oh, target. Absolute Muppet. He's dead.
One of the bodyguards are up. Bodyguard is actually standing in the room with you, Tim. He pulls out his pistolet and fires at the this guy that just stepped into the room here.
Nice.
But this ninja-like figure just matrixes out of the way of the shot, and the laser shot goes flying off into the hallway.
Damn it!
Up next, another one of these guys. That same one that just got shot at rushes forward at that bodyguard. Seeing that he's the most immediate threat, being the one shooting at him. It's not looking good for this bodyguard.
Uh-oh.
These liquidators are tough.
The guy in that shining golden mask, after dodging that shot, immediately does a little spin move, throws one of those throwing discs, and it lands right in the face of that Plandran bodyguard, and the bodyguard drops to the floor.
Right.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and remove one of the bodyguard tokens completely.
No chance of bringing him back after all of this? He's just dead.
It's just dead.
Wow, that's harsh, man.
Yeah. End of round. It's not not going well. All right, refresh that and roll again. Dorzoka, you're up.
Well, I'm going to take another swing with my mighty sledgehammer in hopes that I can squash one of these things.
All right, go for it.
Shit.
All right. He actually is able to grab the maul, stop your attack, and dodges out of the way completely, begins running down the hallway away from you. So one of them is running away from you, and I believe that would put him towards Altair in the trap. So we'll see what happens with that. Up next. Wow, another end of round.
End of round.
Jeez.
And it's Tim's turn.
Yay!
Tim, what are you doing? You're standing on the inside of this doorway. One of these guys are right in the doorway. There's another one standing outside of the door and one running down the hallway.
Stab the one that's in the room. Can I argue that this is like tunnel fighting?
Definitely.
Okay. And I stab at him. Have at you!
All right.
So I don't actually have tunnel fighting on here yet on my skills.
Okay. It's actually in the compendium. I should be able to add it real quick here.
Okay, cool. It was
skills.
page 55 in the book. Oh, well, it's under TU.
Tunnel fighting. There you go.
Cool. Okay. But where do I click?
Just on the word tunnel fighting. It should,
There it goes.
should work for you.
Roll under or roll over?
Roll over for attacks like this, because it's basically you're in a scrap, melee with this guy.
Oh, so I have
And
to
it is
roll better than my skill? Wait.
No, roll over is a contested roll. So now I'm going to roll over with this guy.
Oh, gotcha. And he rolled better than me. Okay. Faster.
And you have armor on. I don't think you have any armor, do you? You just
No, I
have
do
dusty
not.
robes.
Dusty robes.
8 points of damage. As he steps out of the way of your knife attack and slashes at your arm.
Okay.
And I kind of arranged the tokens here a little bit so that they kind of resemble where you are, in the room and stuff.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I don't have any actual tokens for these guys. Surprised there wasn't any actual artwork for these guys in the book, just that description. But let's go to the table and roll again and see whose turn it is. Dorzoka.
Come on, Dorzoka.
Well, I was trying to find some quick things on healing here and regain, but that's only for sleep and eating provisions. So, I mean, does eating a provision actually do something immediately? Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'll
I'd
go
like
with
to-
rules as written even, and just you can start chowing down in the middle of a fight. And
Yeah. Since I have one stamina left, and if
Yeah.
he does me an attack here, I don't want to fall right out of the gate. So I do have some provisions. I have 6 of them. And I kind of take a step back, winging my maul up and reaching into my satchel, like Indiana Jones, pulling out some provisions and eating them. And it's like Popeye, right? You the spinach and it hits the forearms and the legs.
all right, 1d6, and that's how much you heal.
It's better than nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
End of round. And we will actually go ahead and end completely for now. It's 9 o'clock. It's been 2 hours. Leave it on a little
Son of a
cliffhanger. What's going to happen in this combat? Yeah. So switch up the music a little bit here, and we're going to figure out what happens next time in our next session. Probably just play next Wednesday, but we'll figure it out. We haven't actually talked about when the next session will be. But this scenario overall, I think at this pace will probably be 3 sessions long or so. But we'll go to each character like we usually do and see what what the character's thinking and all that sort of stuff. So we'll start with Preacher, playing Altair.
So Altair is he's kind of excited for like the first time in his life to have a sense of purpose, I guess. Up until this point, he's just kind of, I mean, obviously he wanted to avenge his parents or kind of go on that bit, but now he actually has a goal in mind as opposed to just an idea, especially since he is helping out somebody who's helped him out a whole lot, and it is because of this man that he was able to be fortunate enough to have the things he did have. So he feels good. He feels kind of ready to, geared up and ready to go. He's very spunky, I guess. As far as this scenario, or like this current situation, he's wondering what the deal is with this. This is way out of his element as far as, as much as whimsical as the world is, these disappearing little cultist henchman dudes got him kind of thrown him for a loop, and now he's watching all of his friends fight, and he's just kind of, I'm holding the rope, Dad. Doesn't know what's gonna happen once he gets them, but hopefully he gets one. He's all talk, but in reality he's kind of not really nervous as much as he's just kind of hoping that he can hold his own and be a part of the group.
All right. Next, we'll go to Dionysus, playing Dorzoka.
He was happy, right at the beginning. They caught them unawares, but they seem to be formidable foes and have taken several chunks of both my stamina and my pride in this fight. He, as he started to fight, he's learned that these creatures are much more powerful than he initially took on. He does have high hopes that Altair will catch one, and is quite relieved that the entry door to Tim's room has opened up. So he now has some assistance in fighting these gentlemen.
Yep. All right. And lastly, we go to Forloth, playing Tim.
Tim is no stranger to death. He's back in his element. He can't wait to slay his enemies, extract the skulls from their still warm corpses, and make them talk. Who sent them? Who are they? What are their designs? And then I'll do a little dance, maybe make some brownies. Yeah, it'll be good.
Brownies do sound very nice.
All right, so that was Troika and Fronds of Benevolence. Thank you everyone for watching. I saw a comment in there from Matt Alpha. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Appreciate that. We're gonna do a little raid here, and stick around for that, and keep an eye out on our Discord or Twitter for when the next session's gonna be. I'm excited to see where this goes. Troika's been an interesting game to run. A lot of fun so far. So that's it. We'll see you later. Good night.